Learn the latest news involving Lukaku and Inter Milan, plus we have more updates on Raheem Sterling, Ligt, and of course Ousmane Dembele. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Smash the like button. You guys have been doing bits with the like button. Please help me go over 2k likes again. But before we continue on, I have brought back the This Week at Chelsea series, where today I was joined by the beautiful man in football therapy. So if you guys want to check the video out, you'll find a link above in the card above, and without wasting any more time, let's start things off with the quick report, the update on Ousmane Dembele. Now, more reports have come out from Spain, and for me, this is news that I've been waiting for, as it involves Barcelona and Dembele's agent in Moussa Sissoko, the very controversial agent that I've spoken about and alluded to in previous videos. Well, reports today are suggesting that Barcelona have given up on trying to renew a new contract with Dembele, and they are fed up dealing with his agent in Moussa Sissoko. They've offered a take it or leave it deal, which of course is being left, and realistically, we are his best and strongest option, as we already know we've been talking to Sissoko and Dembele for the past few months. That doesn't mean it's happening every single day, but it means that there has been contact before, contact has persisted, and of course contact has been made over these past few weeks as well too. So, you know, things are getting quite interesting, things are really heating up involving the story. I'm hoping for more big updates. We know that by the end of this month, Dembele will officially be free and will be made available to go to wherever he wants. So by the looks of things, it seems that we are by far the front runners, but who knows, maybe a crazy bid from Liverpool last minute or United or anywhere could come, but realistically, I'm really not expecting that whatsoever. Let's see what happens, you guys. But as I keep saying, I feel confident that Tuchel is going to get his man for this summer. So right now, we move on to the second story, and there are more updates on Romelu Lukaku. Apologies to anyone if you're getting a little bit bored with these stories, but you know, realistically, Lukaku is like the most important player of this summer, in my opinion, because his future has the biggest ramifications. For us to be able to replace him, he has to be moved on, and this summer, it really is going to be one in, one out. So let's talk about the reports that came out today from Damasio, who reported that Lukaku has been in contact with former teammates at Inter Milan, higher-up officials as well too. Literally everyone there talking about his willingness to return back to the club. Maybe this explains why Inter Milan have had some confidence in feeling like they can potentially do something for Lukaku. And I guess it paints a picture that Lukaku was, already decided all the way back during the start of the new year that for sure he wanted to leave once the season was over. Now, I do have to say, you guys, of course there was a big reaction on social media today. It's understandable and it makes sense. We know that Lukaku said that he wanted to come back to do things here. It doesn't seem like he's necessarily living up to his words. So I'm not here to be, telling people they're wrong to be feeling that, because I think we all had massive expectations for Lukaku. And me, myself, is simply saying, listen, for me, he's confirmed he doesn't want to be here, so we must do everything we can to sell him so we don't affect the rest of the business we can do this summer. It really is that simple. But one thing I do have to say though is that this report isn't something necessarily new, and I kind of felt like I've actually spoken about this story a few months back, because I think back during the start of April, it was already confirmed in reports then, and as you guys can see on the screen, that Lukaku was already talking to figures at Inter Milan, had spoken to former teammates, not just on like a cordial, friendly level, and was essentially sounding out the possibility of returning back to Inter Milan. What I'm simply saying is I already feel like we've already spoken about this like 2 months back, so I'm a bit surprised why it's coming back again, even though this is something I thought we already knew. But regardless, we do have new information now coming out from reporter and Ben Jacobs, and essentially he tweeted today saying that we are open to doing a salary share loan deal with Inter Milan. As we already know, Inter Milan must pay a big loan fee, which is around 20 million. And of course, we already know for a few months too as well that Lukaku is happy to take up to a 50% wage reduction to force a move back to Inter Milan. Now, Ben reports that the club won't sell him out of sentiment and could even delay his potential sale just to wait for other offers to come in for the player. Of course, Bayern Munich are big fans of Lukaku. We know that Lewandowski is very adamant that he wants his move to Barcelona. He's already agreed a 3-year contract deal with them. He's quite disillusioned with life at Bayern Munich and literally wants out. And it's kind of crazy some of the things he's actually saying, considering that he's been like one of their mega superstars over the past few seasons. But that's football. That's life. That's how things work, you guys. Interestingly enough, though, I think Demazi also alluded to the fact that Marina Granovskaya's future is going to heavily impact the possible sale of Romelu Lukaku. Essentially, you know, if she remains, maybe she might consider trying to keep the player. Instead, of course, she put in a lot of work last summer to actually persuade him to come to the club. And naturally, of course, we're not going to take any else financially over Lukaku's future. So, you know, let's see what happens with the story. As I'm going to reiterate again and again, you know, I want the player to go. If the player doesn't want to be here, that's fine with me, but it just means that you have to go. And I hope that we do this business quickly, because I don't want us to lose out on other attacking targets to other teams, because we're taking months and months and months and months to deal with Lukaku's future. Who knows what's going to happen? Personally, I'm a bit worried because I don't know if Inter Milan even have the finances like that. So could we potentially have to take an L? Or could Bayern Munich come and save the day? I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit stressful because so much of our summer business relies upon what happens with Lukaku. So, hey, a part of me is feeling, you know what, it's okay that you've been sounding out, return back to Inter Milan since January, because hopefully that, you know, it gave Inter Milan more time at least to figure out a way to bring you back and take you out of our club. I just think it's that logical. I think it's that simple. And yeah, he wants to go. He knows what the door is. So right now, we end things with the final two stories. Let's talk the latest news on Raheem Sterling, as reports have come out suggesting that Man City have in fact offered Sterling to us, of course, because they need to free up the wage bill after signing Erling Haaland on a stupid contract, and, you know, the very talented Alvarez from River Plate as well too. Now, Raheem Sterling's current market value is set at around 85 million euros, and his contract does end next year. So you'd imagine that Man City will look to get a sizable portion of his valuation, of course, during the summer window. And it seems like we are going to have some competition for the player, as clubs like Bayern, Barcelona, and, you know, Madrid have all been or were all interested at one point. I say at one point though, because Madrid of course have a lot of options in the wide areas. Doesn't really make any sense for them to want to spend big money, big wages on someone else when they already have so much talent there. And with the fact that Eden Hazard potentially may have more life for next season too. I think Sterling, listen, ideally he's not my number one target, but if it gets to a point in the window where there's not many options available, Sterling's still there. His Premier League experience, of course, you know, his talent, his goal threat, and the fact that he's used to playing this positional style play of football, I definitely think that he could bring something to the team in that sense. And I do see him being like an upgrade to someone like a Timo Werner, because, you know, Raheem Sterling, you know, is very good in tight areas, has that dribbling ability as well too, and is really good at timing his runs inside the box as well too. He could be like a very calculated move to make. However, I do think there's so many great options in the market right now that, you know, it's only my personal opinion, only mine, but I'd like us to sign maybe younger players with a higher ceiling of potential. I think they are like the best options for us to sign, because let's say, God forbid, for example, Raheem Sterling didn't really bang. It feels like it's very hard to move on players like that as they get older and older. So at least if they're younger, if they flop, it's not too bad to get rid of them. But even then, you know, even me saying Raheem Sterling flopping, I don't even really believe that he would do that here if he was signed. So right now, we end things with another big story today, and it involves the future of Matthias de Ligt of Juventus. Now reports are coming out from Italy, and it does seem like de Ligt's future is very uncertain at this point in time. Let's actually read out some of the statements released by de Ligt recently. As he said, you know, negotiations are ongoing at the moment, and when the time does come, I will decide whether to extend or look elsewhere. I always look at what is best for me in terms of the sporting project. 2 consecutive 4th place finishes are not good enough. We have to make progress in that direction, because these are disappointing results. Juventus are a club that always wants to be and must be champions. So, hey, for me, when players talk like this, it's just how the game is, you know. They've got big potential, especially if you have like the luxury of being like one of the top young talents as well, you know, playing for the top teams. You need to have this energy if you want to make it at clubs like this and make something happen there. So hey, for me, I'm perfectly okay with this type of energy. that players have. If De Ligt was to possibly stay at Juventus, not only does he need guarantees that they do have a sporting direction to go in, which maybe could actually be more favourable towards the player for next season, as players like Pogba and others are being linked with moves to Juventus. And on top of this as well too, De Ligt wants to sign a new contract with a new release clause, essentially dropping his 120 million release clause down to around 70 to 80 million euros, which for me makes a lot of sense. Essentially, reports are saying that De Ligt wants to take his future into his own hands, and by dropping that valuation down by 40-50 mil, that makes him a lot more affordable to other clubs across Europe. The guy is still 22 years old. He's been playing football for a very long time. We know he made his debut at 17 years old for Ajax. Great young Ajax team at the time as well too. But today, reports in Italy suggest that we are really forcing the situation with De Ligt over a possible move for this summer. Now, of course, we have the money, the funds, and with many replacements in defence as well too, there's spaces available there for us to be able to sign up De Ligt in our defence. I'm not really opposed to a move to De Ligt. Again, tons of experience. He comes from the Ajax Academy, very good on the ball, very technical, knows how to play a forward pass. But on top of that as well to you guys, I think one of the things that I've heard before about, Chelsea interest in De Ligt is the fact that this is a young player that is seen as a leader. Ideally, when a big team was looking at defenders, they want to have that leader in defense that's going to organize the defense. As I always say all the time, defending isn't just having 4 individuals playing together with like top class ability. It's about building that relationship and understanding. And a lot of times you need to have that guy marshalling the back line, making sure guys regroup back into that defensive line, and of course communicating a lot with the midfield players in front of him. With leaders like that, with those first leading defenders, these are the players that receive passes from the goalkeeper and kickstart the next phase of the attack. And De Ligt is this profile, he is this player. He's 22, it doesn't mean that his game is like absolutely perfect, but when you're signing young players like this, you sign them for what they can currently do, as well as the fact that you have a lot more confidence that they can reach a higher level compared to like most counterparts around their age. So De Ligt would probably cost a ton of money. You'd think that Juventus could have a plan for that type of money that they could, generate from selling De Ligt. And personally, I wouldn't be surprised to see even more reports intensifying around this story, because it does seem like De Ligt could possibly be swayed away from Juventus if he's enticed by a great sporting project. We know Man United are potentially showing interest as well too. Working with this former manager there, especially if they're able to secure some players to strengthen that team, may entice him, but the fact that United have no Champions League football really is not working in their favour for most deals this summer. Now, he's a leader. He's very strong. I think he's deceptively fast as well too. He's aggressive and he is a proactive defender. He's a defender that will leave his line to close down the ball, close down his man, and win it higher up the field as well too. He has all the abilities to actually make it here. And I'm very curious to see, how many more reports come out involving the story. So you guys, on that note, that is all the big news that dropped today. A lot of this came late at night. Sorry this video is coming out so late because I was working on another video. So I hope you enjoy. Smash that like button, check out the new Chelsea Weekly series involving football therapy too. I'm the EFC, this is Blue Lines TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.